Hola, it's Matthew here and welcome to this month's property market report for the local property market in our area. As ever, we'll start with the facts, the figures and what is really going on in the market, and then we'll look at some of the latest property news. Let's dive straight in. In Orgiva this month, there were 65 properties available for sale with an average asking price of €220,000 or €1,092 per square metre. This was around 26% down on stock levels from last year and around 15% down on the average asking price, with around 25% down on the average price per square metre. We'll have a look at square metre pricing in a moment. In Lanjaron, last month there were 67 properties available for sale with an average asking price of €120,000 or €886 per square metre. Again, stock levels were down around 28% on this time last year, with prices only 5% down and the price per square metre 13% down. Moving over to Lecrin Valley, last month there were 132 properties available for sale in the area with an average asking price of €135,000 or €891 per square metre. Comparing this to last year, that's around 14% down on the stock levels, around 7% down on average pricing and around 5% down on the price per square metre. In Velez de Benaudalla last month there were 40 properties available for sale with an average asking price of €153,000 or €1,267 per square metre. On average, stock levels are down around 25% across the board in the whole of the Granada area, and average prices have also dropped. This is not to mean that prices have dropped, this is just the average price. It's easily skewed for various reasons and is a clear indicator of why an average price per square metre should never be used for the basis of a property valuation. Correct pricing is still very critical in today's market. With inflationary pressures of last year looking like they're now possibly under control in many markets, the cost of living crisis is still having a bit of a hangover effect. Higher interest rates around the world caused a drag on demand towards the end of last year, with many countries leading to slower house sales. This had a knock-on effect, meaning that people weren't able to move as quickly as they wanted to and had a slight delay on demand in Spain. This is now easing and there's been a sharp upturn in people who are ready to move, particularly from the USA and the UK. The Brexit hangover has certainly eased and people from the UK are now realising that the reality of moving to Spain is actually not that significantly different from before Brexit. Yes, there's a lot more hoops to jump through, but the doommongers are still putting out there how difficult it is. But the reality is it's not significantly more difficult than it was before, and buyers from the UK are coming back into the market in their droves. Let's have a look at some of the property news affecting local homeowners, buyers and sellers in the local area. The first big change is energy certificates. Now, there are some changes afoot with energy certificates in the coming year. New standards are being implemented and some changes to the regulations. Although the full details of this are not completely clear, nor, as ever with legal changes, how the interpretation of that might happen in the market. The energy certificate has been a legal requirement for a number of years now for anybody who is marketing their property or for any property that's available for sale. However, there's still a lot of people out there who are illegally marketing their property and not getting their energy certificates before putting a property on the market. Do look out for this, because if you're finding properties that are not correctly being marketed or not even legally being marketed, that does give an indication that something's being hidden somewhere. Be very careful of agents that don't legally advertise their properties or haven't bothered to get energy certificates. Probably means they're not up to speed on the current legislation in the market, and actually as a home seller could put you in a very difficult position, as you could be fined just as easily as the agent for not complying with the regulations. We'll see what the new changes, how that affects things over the coming months, and we'll keep you updated on that. The rental market in Spain has taken a further hit. Following legislation introduced last year, the rental market in Spain continues to spiral into a crisis. as more and more landlords are exiting the market due to the laws and the regulations falling heavily in favour of tenants, the risk of occupers, the chance of recovering monies if properties are damaged, all of this is adding up and causing rental prices to spiral as demand increases but the stock plummets. The rental stock supply in the Granada area is over 30% down in the last 3 months alone, and rent prices have increased over 15% during that time. The new holiday rental regulations are also starting to bite, as more and more municipalities are adopting the new regulations, making it more difficult for people to be able to obtain a holiday rental licence. What this has had an effect with is that we've seen a spike in demand for properties that already have a rental licence, because getting a new one could become more difficult or impossible in some areas. So the demand for properties with an existing holiday rental licence, we have seen quite a spike in people requesting that as news of these changes is becoming more prevalent and more commonly known. The digital nomad visa. Spain's new digital nomad visa has taken the visa market by storm. If you fancy working remotely from a beach or enjoying the mountain views, sipping on a mojito in 21 degrees of sunshine, then you're in good company. Many people are wanting to do that. The tax implications, or the nuances around the tax implications on this are quite defined, and we'll do a video on that in a bit more detail. But we're seeing a huge demand in digital nomad visa applications, and also they're being processed really quickly, which is a bit of a change from the normal visa process. What that's meant is we're also seeing a demand from people for properties that have a working space at home or an area that could be used as an office, as more and more people are exploring the idea of coming to live and work in Spain under these new regulations. Again, we'll do a more detailed video on that soon. If you'd like that sent to you, just drop us a message below and we'll make sure you get a copy of that. Legal issues abound. Sadly, many homeowners are being caught out when it comes to selling their properties because they believe that everything is okay with the paperwork, as there were no issues raised when they bought the property maybe 10 years plus ago. Sadly, many agents weren't aware of the discrepancies that can appear or just brush them under the carpet. And it's the same with many lawyers. People bought their properties but were not told of the discrepancies. Some of the things that are coming up now, which might have got away with in the past, are discrepancies particularly between the measurements in the deed and the measurements in the catastro. This is causing problems. Some examples we've seen just recently have been where one entire floor of property was not described on the deeds and so not registered properly. We've had others where the measurements have been wildly inaccurate, and even one where the whole property was not registered as a vivienda, which the seller thought it was, and so that's taken quite a lot of issues to sort out. In addition, many properties are now requiring an AFO where they may not have done in the past. So if you are thinking of selling a property, it's really important to get a property health check done a good few months before you're ready to market, to ensure that if there are any discrepancies, they're discovered early on. In one particular case, this did cause a big problem because the property was being sold with one description. A deposit was made on that basis. Subsequently, when the paperwork was checked, the description didn't match what was being sold, and the buyer decided they didn't want to proceed. The seller, due to the contract that had been made, was left where they had to refund double the deposit as it was a hidden defect. Now, this is something that can be checked very easily before a property is marketed, so it's really, really important to make sure you're fully aware of that and you don't get caught out by this. It's really simple for us to check, and we can do that for free for you. So if you have bought a property in anything from the last few years onwards, please do get that checked to make sure you don't get caught out by this. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave any comments below or ask any questions that you may have, and let us know if there's any topics you would like covered. We're looking forward to coming into the popular spring-summer market now, and we're seeing huge demand of people wanting to move to Spain. So now's a great time. If you're thinking of selling, don't delay. Last year's problems have moved out of the market, and the hangover from that is starting to clear. A bit like the weather here. The sun's shining again today and back to normal after the rainy Easter weekend. So as I said, do like and subscribe and let us know if there's anything we can help you with. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.